72 degrees yesterday, 95 degrees today. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Don't you just love California? Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob.
Certainly beats 40 degrees, which is...
Welcome to episode 209 of the O The Anthem podcast. It is 8:40 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 11:40 p.m. Eastern. And O The Anthem is live from coast to coast, broadcasting from the beautiful #OTLA studios in downtown Los Angeles, California. Again, where it is currently 79 degrees.
Well, it is nighttime.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes. And O The Anthem is live from coast to coast. So, welcome to episode 209 of the broadcast.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing and doing all those things because they all do something.
Of course. And
Internet
you can,
dollars aplenty.
Indeed. And you can find us at O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course the listener line at 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
That's 443-219-7595. And if you want to be part of the show, of course, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, you're missing out. We are recording this as #OTA After Dark episode.
Ooh.
As we've been doing pretty much every week recently. Yeah. But you can join us and be part of the show in the chat. Make sure that you are signing up on Facebook at facebook.com/O The Anthem and turn those notifications on so you know when we go live with video. You can join us there in the chat, make a comment. We'll talk about it right on the show, or text the listener line at 443-219-7595 and be a part of the show that way. And of course, if you're listening to it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's the best thing about podcasts. You can catch it when you can catch it. You could text or call the listener line and leave a message, and we'll make sure we get to it on the next show.
Yeah, just give us some sort of reference point, though.
Yes, because you might be weeks behind.
Yeah, don't just text us, I disagree with Rob, because, I mean, we don't know what specifically you disagree with him. I mean, it could be just broad in everything, but
yes.
we should have a little bit of, what do you call it, reference.
Yeah, and that's pretty standard. Disagreeing with me would be pretty standard. So we need to have some kind of reference. But thank you guys for joining us for the show. And, I mean, we have a lot to get to this week. Unfortunately, a lot of it happened today, which was weird.
Yeah.
But let's start off with a little news of the week. And, of course, when we're talking news of the week, we're talking sports ball. Still loving that intro. Yeah. All right. So, I have not been able to keep up with the games. I know that right now we are 2-0. The Orioles are 2-0 on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I think their record is something like 9-2 otherwise.
No.
Okay, no. Sorry. Okay.
We're 4-7 now, I think. Something like that.
Long way from 2015, folks.
It's I will say this though. It's too early to start making predictions about how the Orioles season will go, or any season in baseball, because we are still within April. Tax day hasn't even come yet. It's not worth thinking about like where we are in terms of baseball yet, because
wait,
it's too early.
I totally forgot about tax day.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. Let's wrap this thing up real quick and
OTheAnthem.com.
I got things I got to handle. Sorry, guys. All right. Yes. But yeah, it's very early in the season.
Yeah. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton looks like he's the biggest waste ever.
Yes.
At this point. And then, he's going to go on to hit 50-something home runs. So.
And sometimes you win the first 10, 12, 15 games in a row, and then you don't make the playoffs. So things happen. You never know.
It's way too early to tell. But I will say this. I mean, today's Oriole game seemed like it was mostly because nobody could get a proper grip on the ball because it was raining during the game.
Was it because Dylan Bundy was trying to go buy alcohol underage after the game?
Dylan Bundy was doing well. I mean, he had a quality start, I believe. I think he made it 6.
Was it the McLovin stash that helped
That's
him?
Hunter Harvey.
Oh, was that Hunter Harvey?
Yeah, he was
okay.
I don't know why he was there, but he was there.
Yes, with his McLovin stash.
It was Michael Givens and the Rule 5 pick who kind of blew it up. But it was raining at the point, and, sometimes that sort of thing happens.
By the way, Michael Givens with the big play at the plate 2 games ago?
Brock.
No, it was Michael Givens at the plate.
Are you talking about
where he blocked the plate and tagged the guy out?
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh, wait, I know something that Corey didn't know about an Oriole game? I don't even get to watch these games. No, Brad Brock had the double play at the plate, which was amazing. We saw that.
The 1-2-6 double play.
Man, you don't see that very often. And you said that they give the catcher the neighborhood. when that play happened.
Well, they give all the fielders the neighborhood.
Yeah, what's the neighborhood? For somebody who might have saw that play, I had a question about whether or not Caleb Joseph actually touched home plate as he was making the catch. It looked like he slid his toe as the ball may or may not have been in the glove and then threw it down to third.
Well, I think he did touch the plate.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a neighborhood play, but the idea was in double plays, particularly like when you're going to second base first. Say it's the shortstop who throws to the second baseman or the first baseman.
Yeah.
The second baseman might grab the ball and stand over the base, but not necessarily touch the base.
Okay.
But make some sort of reasoned approach that he would have touched the base because he was in the area.
Yeah.
He was in the neighborhood of the base.
Okay.
And then throw on to first.
And is that a safety? Is that a safety issue, like to keep you from getting slid into?
I mean, usually that had been the reason why it had been common parlance to do it, but there wasn't really. I mean, you should just be able to touch the base.
Yeah.
But in olden days, you would see neighborhood plays where they didn't come anywhere close to touching the base.
Yeah.
And, the second baseman would be, if they fell down, they could touch the base, but they weren't like actually touching the base.
Just dragging your foot 3 feet from the bag and throwing on to first. Right. Yeah.
But no, I think that one was clean. And usually if it's one of those that you can make the argument like, oh, I think he did touch it, then that was usually good enough to get the call.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so highlights of that game were the.
But I did. I don't know if they changed the rule on replay just to put one last button on this issue of the neighborhood play. But I know that for a while there they were saying we're not going to review neighborhood plays, but we will review if you slide in, if you go to steal second and your body comes off the base for like a frame,
and
like a split second, and you're being tagged, then you're out. But we're not going to check to make sure that Scope touched second before he threw it to first.
To be fair, though, it's way easier to score than it is to stop from scoring nowadays.
Yeah.
We are in the fly ball era of baseball.
Yeah.
So,
I still wish we could blow up catchers at the plate. I know it's really not healthy, and we lost Buster Posey for an entire season, and we didn't have to just because some guy decided to
come in hard.
Yeah, annihilate him at the plate, But there's something so satisfying. I still love the clip of Pete Rose from the All-Star game where he blew up whatever catcher he was going
lowered his shoulder.
Yeah, he literally just speared the guy, and then he died, and then Pete Rose walked back and touched the plate.
Now, I always love, and you know what, now with the mics that they have on the field, because I'm thinking of like when they're like, try to silence everything except for the sound of the catcher's pad just crunching together. And now with all the mics on the field, we'd really be able to hear it. But, safety. And I'm actually surprised now going back to the Michael Givens play, he was blocking the plate. I mean, you didn't see it, so you have no idea. But he was blocking the plate, and he slid in blocking the plate to make the catch and then tag him. But I guess the rule is a catcher can't block the plate.
Well, nobody's supposed to block the plate. But I mean, like,
he's moving in and he's sliding.
I think the rule is that you can do it. You can block the plate once you have the ball.
Okay.
Like you can't blow the catcher up.
Okay, right, yeah.
Like you have to give the runner at least some sort of way to get towards the plate if you don't have the ball. So you have to give up some space.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
And God knows we don't need Caleb Joseph blocking the plate anyway. He already had that, lower extremity issue.
We don't need him to lose another ball.
He might be fathering the next generation of Orioles catchers. We have to be careful.
We got one ball left.
Protect the one that we have.
I would like very much like you remember in Not Another Teen Movie where they had the concussion counter for Billy Bob?
Yes. Balls.
Caleb Joseph ball counter.
Ding. Oh.
Down to one.
Down to one. Gotta be careful. Oh yeah. And you
just have it as numbers on the side of the warehouse. Like,
yeah.
Just comes rolling down 0.
No. But yeah, so the Orioles are not doing great, but it's early. The record attendance tonight at 7,900 people, which is
tickets sold.
Well, tickets sold, right? Which is the lowest number except for one game.
The one with no people.
The one with no one at it.
The post-Freddie Gray Bowl.
Oh my gosh. And it was below freezing, 29 degrees in Chicago, and there were fewer people there, but you don't really have an excuse when you can get people to show up to a game in Chicago and the recorded attendance there was higher.
I'm starting to wonder if baseball is feeling a little bit nervous about this let's start the season in March idea.
Yeah, global warming and whatnot.
Well, I mean, just in general, like, I saw, as of yesterday, posts about the home opener.
Yeah.
And I feel like we still would have dealt with, like, really frigid cold
You're drunk,
if
so
the
nobody
game
really
started
noticed.
today.
Yeah.
But I still feel like there's a way we could have made this work where there doesn't have to be games that are snowed out, like in Wrigley Field.
Here's the thing, guys. Drink Bo, scream O, play ball. When you drink Bo first,
Yeah.
the rest of it just comes natural, and you don't have to worry about the cold. So, and Wrigley Field, who gives a fuck?
And they got great, like, Oriole related jackets and stuff like
Sure,
that you can put on over top of your Oh The Anthem shirts.
right.
So
Don't zip it though. Don't zip it. You want
just keep it open.
Keep it open and let
just
them
get
see.
a couple sweatshirts and just keep it open.
Yeah,
and that way
absolutely.
you'll stay warm. It's the extremities that get cold. It's not. This is core body heat. You're good.
Do not follow our medical advice. That is not good medical advice. Anyway, but so as part of the sports ball segment, you said you wanted to talk about hockey. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do that.
Well, I just wanted to let you guys know that the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Capitals start on Thursday, where we will play the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. So if you wanted to buy your is that you sleeping? You cutting to a clip of you sleeping? If you wanted to buy your Win a Cup or Kill Me Already t-shirts, now would be about the time to do that. Yeah, he's dead. I've killed him. Good. There he is. He wasn't dead.
Sorry, I'm back. Okay.
I'm looking right now. There was a thing that predicted that the Caps had a 16% chance of winning the cup. I'm telling you right now, that's not the case. I am currently. I should have done this before, but I'm looking for the actual how much money you could win if you bet on the series coming up here.
While you're doing that, what I'm
Yeah.
going to say is what we just had there, for those of you listening, is a visual gag. So make sure you check out the video. It'll be up on Facebook at facebook.com/O The Anthem. Or, of course, every single video is up at youtube.com/O The Anthem. You can find all of course, the episodes of the podcast. You can also find the short films. You can find the love letter. You can find Heretics, the web series from last year. All that stuff is going to be available at youtube.com/O The Anthem. And again, you'll be able to get those visual gags because obviously they don't play so well over the podcast. You'll also be able to see that when Corey talks about the Capitals, what I do is I replace my face with the Win a Cup or Kill Me Already t-shirt front that you'd be able to buy at otheanthem.com, at the store at otheanthem.com. So make sure you check that out. Here, let me give you the information for that. Right there, you can go to otheanthem.com, or you can find a link at any of our social media for that particular thing. But go to otheanthem.com, and you can check out the OTA merch, OTA the store, and it'll be available right in there if you're a Cavs fan and you hate yourself, just like Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it right now. There is a... Here it is. Finally, in a chart, so I can look at it all at once. This site has the Caps at 4.7% odds to win the Stanley Cup, and I'm telling you, it's about 4.69999% too high. So, I'm really I'm upset that the Caps are going to go into Columbus and have to face John Tortorella and lose, because I never like losing to Tortorella, and the whole team is going to go away. And somehow Trotz is going to come back. I don't get it. And, yeah. So buy that shirt. Make me less unhappy as I am right now. And, yeah, good to go.
All right.
And then
Well,
Rob's back.
That's been Sports Ball for the week. Really just any opportunity to use that splash. That's really what we're looking for. So moving on, do you want to take the news on down to the Baltimore corner?
Where you get the straight dope? Should have timed it up with the thing.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
We can talk over it.
But I mean, yeah. So as you can see, the production value going way up. That was 2 2 splashes right in a row.
2 splashes.
That's nice.
Not just one.
That's nice.
How many splashes did you get with the Bill Simmons podcast? None.
And how many advertisements? Huh?
Many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get none here. This is free. Anyway.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Until Rob just starts going like, hey, listen, Pepto-Bismol wants to give us money to talk about Pepto-Bismol during the podcast. And then he's just going to like every single thing I'll just be like, so Trump punched a nun today. And it's just like, wow, that nun probably needs Pepto-Bismol.
Except for you have to cut up those ads and send them to the sponsors. And I can just imagine me going to a read and you just being like, fuck your mother. And it's not like I can cut that and send it to the advertiser. So...
They're gonna send us a script that says, talk about a time that you enjoyed Pepto-Bismol, and I'm just gonna be like, I was shitting a lot.
I mean, they might like that.
And the people are just gonna be like, no, that's not the way to say it. Just
given the way that our audience skews, it might be appropriate. I don't know. Our audience skews really to the shut-in 40-year-old man, so really, it might be good.
Maybe we should sell more "Get Off My Lawn" T-shirts.
Hey, now you're thinking. Anyway, so in Baltimore news, not a lot going on in Baltimore, but a lot going on in Annapolis, and that might cause some big changes in Baltimore, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So one big thing that happened in Baltimore was that there is a hearing now that is scheduled for the what is it called? The consent decree. The consent decree will finally have a hearing. And right in time for that to be an utter failure, which, by the way, it will be, Annapolis has stepped in, Annapolis where the Maryland state government is, and is starting what I would call a blue ribbon commission. I know that they have some special term for it, but blue ribbon commission. The governor and the legislature is starting a commission to look into the Baltimore Police Department. And, of course, Catherine Pugh, very excited, very supportive. Police Department, way into it. They're very supportive of this.
Nope.
The FOP3, they are looking forward to vindication. So...
FOP doesn't want it. Catherine Pugh doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Nobody in the city council other than, what's his face?
The new guy, right?
Dorsey.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's not who I'm thinking of.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry.
I don't thought none of them wanted it.
Well, I mean, really none of them want it because everyone's going to be exposed if this is done properly.
Yeah, the guy who was
And by done properly, I mean like one hour of Google searching should probably get everyone out of their jobs. But
yeah, and there's somebody who's been doing an audit of the Baltimore police for like the last 5 years. And that guy, oh God, how much are you shaking in your boots? Listen, I mean... It's a big job, and well, I mean, we got this thing together 3 weeks ago, and we're pretty much done. So,
quick thing too, by the way, we talked many weeks ago about how the city and the FOP couldn't come to terms with an agreement for a police contract.
Yes,
and they had to bring in lawyers from Philly to hash it all out.
Yes,
and despite the fact that Baltimore police caused international news by their robbing and thieving, somehow they still get a 3% raise. So congratulations, Catherine Pugh. You are a fucking coward once again.
You are literally the worst negotiator. How could you have a group more over the barrel than, hey, so I was watching CNN. Hey, my friend who lives in Germany was watching German news and saw our police department on the news for their intense corruption. So about that raise, and the $500, there was something about $500.
I think it's just like a $500 bonus for every cop to be a cop or something like that.
That seems
something like that.
That seems wrong. But they're going to get the overtime in check. Clearly, that's going to be
I hope I really hope that whatever blue ribbon panel the state has put together is they get like a Mueller in charge. I've talked about this before. Baltimore City needs a Mueller.
Yep.
We need somebody who goes in there and just like he just looks and he's just like I would like him to be like going through like the gun trace task force things and he's just like this is an awful lot of unnecessary overtime. Does this happen all over the place? Get 5 paralegals on how much overtime.
How about this? Justin Brown may be available. You don't know who Justin Brown is?
No.
He was the appellate attorney who represented Anand Zayed.
Oh.
So he may be available.
Yeah.
Very soon to take on that task. I feel like he'd be Mueller-esque.
Maybe.
Yeah. And he's a defense attorney.
Or we could just get the undisclosed people on it.
Oh, yes. We could get the undisclosed people on. There's 3 lawyers right there.
Yeah. I just feel like when I was listening to Undisclosed Death of Freddie Gray, which I would recommend people go back and check out.
Yeah.
what's so nice about things like that is you get a little bit of time and you're able to put together the story like after all the noise is settled. Because like in the heat of Freddie Gray, there was so little news that was like verifiable.
Yeah.
There was lots of rumors and a lot of hearsay, but there wasn't like anything solid.
Oh, and if you've read Pill City, that was total bullshit. So ignore that whole thing. I do love that guy stuck to his guns. Even now, even in the gun trace task force is like, yeah, no, that was all us. And he's like, no, listen, I stand by everything I wrote in that book. Yeah, I may have made up some of it, but not all of it. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, let's get the undisclosed crew on it.
Yeah.
They did an excellent job. I do love that all of them.
I think they would be able to do even a better job if they had access to the actual information. Because like so much of like there was so many times when you would listen to that and you'd say like, oh, hiding behind a Freedom of Information Act request. I see how it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, can't release this information yet. No, I see. I get it.
And my favorite thing was like we watched the video and we compared it to another video where this one was clearly shot with a phone camera, holding up to a monitor,
right?
Which of course makes editing very, very easy. Like, oh, come on, guys, let's get them the real video. So it's
always hard to believe that Marilyn Mosby fucked up that case so badly.
Yeah, and by the way, Thiru. Oh man, Thiru. His name is
when you go to vote, the one you can't pronounce.
Yes, don't vote for him. Don't vote for him. He's the guy who single-handedly tried to keep Adnan Syed in prison, despite the fact that everyone was basically like, "Yeah, did you hear that serial thing? Yeah, maybe we should think about that again." Yeah. But good news for Adnan Syed: the Court of Special Appeals of Maryland has ruled that they've reversed the lower court judge on both counts.
One thought, real quick, before we move on there. Just something that peaked in my brain here. Mm-hmm. I was listening to him on Dan Roderick's podcast.
Okay.
Some time back when he's interviewing all the people who are running for different posts. And I remember him talking about like, I want to bring it back to the days of Bernstein. I want to have another Bernstein administration or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to myself at the time and saying to myself now, why not just be your own man?
Yeah.
Why not just, I mean, great. If you think that there's things that he did, that Bernstein did, that you can translate to your administration, you could say like, I think that these individual parameters worked out well. But why not just say, I'm going to be me rather than be Bernstein, or I'm not going to be Mosby? It seems to be a lot of like, oh, I'm going to be one of the 4 people who worked, or I'm going to be the one person who didn't, or I'm not going to be the person who didn't work. But you're never talking about like,
this is what my plan is, and I want to do this.
Like Michael Jordan doesn't join the NBA and go like, I'm going to be Clyde Drexler. He's like, I'm going to be Mike. I'm going to be Mike. Mm-hmm. So let's do that some.
I do want to say a big thank you and hello to Ashley Wood for joining us, possibly the P1 listener on the podcast right now. She's joined us in the chat. So thank you for joining us, Ashley. We appreciate you. But yes, back to the topic at hand. Do not vote for Thiru. He is a horrible human being and probably would be an even worse state's attorney. I can't imagine him being any better than Marilyn Mosby. But he is... Oh, Ashley's asking if you shaved your head, Corey.
No, I just cut my hair.
Whoop. Yep. As covered in earlier podcasts. Got to catch up. Got to catch up to those old episodes. But no, so Adnan Syed was awarded a new trial by the Court of Special Appeals of Maryland. And because Maryland does everything so different, the Court of Special Appeals of Maryland is not the highest court. The highest court is called the Court of Appeals because...
They're not special.
Yeah, that's how it works in Maryland. And so right now, the state is deciding whether or not they are going to appeal the decision of the Court of Special Appeals up to the Court of Appeals, or the Court of Appeals may just bring it up on by itself. They have the option of doing that. If it's a case of first impression and something that's capable of repetition, or if they feel like they can make a bright line rule where there isn't one now. And there's a chance that they do that. She said, fresh to death. Hashtag fresh to death.
Thank you.
Don't encourage him. Although maybe, yes, encourage him because maybe he'll keep the hair short from now on. He won't.
Who knows?
So I'm really excited about Adnan Syed getting his new trial, and I think that we are at the point where we're really going to move forward with this whole thing, and I'm very excited about that. So the good news is he's going to, at least the Court of Special Appeals has awarded him a new trial. There was one dissenting opinion, which is probably why COSA may take it up, or why the state may choose to.
But I feel like all the people, all the legal people I know who were examining the dissenting opinion felt like it was on kind of shaky ground.
Absolutely.
Legally speaking.
No, it was relying...
Like everything that was brought up was yes, based on a precedent of a case before, but not one that applies to this case in particular.
Well, so what the dissenting judge basically did is say, here are 5 cases. These 5 cases are not alike, and they are not like this case. Excuse me. But if I take this thing from this case, and this thing from this case, and this thing from this case, then I can make a reasonable assertion that what is applied in Adnan's case that should not be done. And the judges tend to do this only when they have already come up with an outcome that they want. And
but they're trying to figure out how to shoehorn it into their...
They're looking for a justification for it. And that's when you get these legally unsound decisions. But the Court of Special Appeals of Maryland is actually called the Court of Special Dissent of Maryland amongst lawyers that practice before it, because there's almost never a dissent. And there's been some argument that the reason that the dissent seems so sketchy is that one person who was less on board with the others, who might have gone along with it otherwise, actually dissented specifically to get it sent to COSA, or to get it sent to the Court of Appeals, so that this thing that is a little bit of a weird issue would actually get outlined. Because if you haven't followed the case at all, on most of this revolves around post-conviction proceedings, and the original state's attorney discouraging witnesses from coming forward and then lying about what that witness would have testified to.
That doesn't sound like Maryland.
Yeah, that's not Maryland courts at all. Yeah. So I think that there may be a little bit of legal shenanigans here where they're like, all right, we'll do a dissent, and we do one so rarely that the Court of Appeals may say, we're going to take that up. Since they can't decide unanimously, we'll take it up and we'll make a decision. The problem is that may leave Adnan Syed in prison for the next 18 months waiting for a decision, which will inevitably, I would hope, lead to a new trial, which will either get him bail, which is the hope, or have the state be like, you know what, enough's enough. Let's let this guy go. So we'll see.
I mean, I feel like, where are you going to find the jury pool who would be able to... I feel like they've done enough to prove reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
In investigating this post the original case.
Yes.
That I feel like you're not going to be able to find a jury pool that hasn't heard about Serial or Adnan.
They can hear about it. It's about whether or not they can hear the evidence and only the evidence and use that to judge his guilt or innocence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could go in there and be like, listen, I was an attorney formerly. Yes, I've heard about the case. Of course I have. But...
Well, being an attorney is the number one way to not get on a jury.
It absolutely is, at least in Maryland. In Maryland, they actually don't even call attorneys for juries. They don't even make you, like, get out of it.
Probably because they know that they'd call you into jury duty, and then you go on the thing, and it'd be like, is there a reason you can't be an effective jurist? And you're like, well, I'm a lawyer. And they'd be like, all right, see ya.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you've screwed up the calendar of another judge who is waiting for that attorney to be in. That my understanding is that's the rule. It's like a professional courtesy so that you don't screw up other judges' schedules. Like,
right.
Listen, Judge, I'd love to have that trial on Thursday, but... jury duty. So I may not be available for the next 6 to 8 weeks, depending on if they call me or not. So
yeah,
it's just like, all right, we don't even send notices out to them. So, but yeah, if people can be impartial, or if they at least say they can be impartial and they can hear the evidence, but this really comes down to the fact that not only is the jury pool basically poisoned, but what is the state's evidence at this point? You get Jay on the stand again to make up his 9th story of this case that matches the state's timeline.
And I don't think Jay even wants to testify anymore, does he?
Jay doesn't, and he doesn't live in Maryland anymore, so I don't know that they can even get him back to testify, but what's her name?
Asia McClain.
Asia McClain clearly would come, so now you have her, but you don't have Jay, and the timeline's all screwed up, so you don't have the cell phone pings anymore, most likely. So it's like a whole mess. But they probably wouldn't charge him, especially now that Theroux is out and he's going to be doing his own thing. But
do you think they would just make him a plea deal, like
That's
time served for the conviction.
This is what a
Like
messed
you've
up.
already spent the time in jail, you might as well just admit that you did it, and this is a way for us to both like
That's
clean our hands of the situation.
Yes. What they would do is they would say, we're going to take you back to trial. We're scheduling it for 19 months from now. We're going to fight you on bail tooth and nail. So you're going to spend the next 19 months in jail. Now, we'll offer you this deal right now. We'll go to the judge today. You take involuntary manslaughter or something much less, and we will lock the judge into this deal that is time served only. That is it. And then after pleading his innocence for the last 19 years, he takes a deal where he admits guilt.
Yeah.
Probably not. And then what happens
I'm not saying he would do it. I'm just saying I'm sure the state is going to try and figure out any way they can to say like, hey, walk today.
And then what happens is they wait 19 months and then they come in the day of trial and they dismiss the charges and then you get dismissed because that's what bitter fucking cops and assistant district attorneys do.
And then Adnan gets to sue the state of Maryland.
Well, he's going to get to sue the state of Maryland anyway. So the question is, what's the 19 months really worth to the state of Maryland?
Yeah.
And Kevin, whatever his name is, who was the attorney who lied in court about what Asia McClain would testify to, he's probably going to be personally responsible for at least part of that millions of dollars.
Yeah. Hope you've been keeping up on that insurance.
Yeah. Malpractice insurance.
Yeah.
Yep. Hope you're that. I hope this Baltimore State's Attorney's Office or Baltimore County State's Attorney's Office. No, yeah, it was in the city, right? In the city.
Yeah, I think
they charged him in the county, and then they charged him again in the city because the body was found in the city, but the crime probably happened in the county. But nonetheless, hopefully they've kept up that malpractice insurance because it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be expensive. So Adnan may have his new day in court. And luckily for everyone who works in Annapolis, their last day is today.
Yeah.
So
probably right about nowish.
Yeah. I mean, it's 9:12 Pacific, which makes it 12:12 Eastern time. And Sine Die is now upon us. Sine Die, you want to give me that translation, Catholic boy?
Absolutely not.
Without a day. So they are closing the Maryland legislature without a plan to reopen it. The next day it'll be reopened would be the next term, which is next January the 4th.
Yeah.
But
we were talking about how weird that is.
Yeah,
that Maryland still sticks with the legislative season as opposed to having just legislatures.
There are a couple weird state legislatures in the country. Nebraska has a unicameral legislature, so there's only one house and a governor, which makes life easier in some ways because you only really have to get it through the one house. And Maryland is one of the few, I think one of the only ones now, because some other states have a seasonal, but they plan 3 seasons.
Right.
So they take breaks, but it's just basically a full year. Maryland has 90 days, January the 4th till April, the first weekend in April. 90 days later, they end. And then everybody goes home to become the citizens that are citizen legislatures. Although in practice, not so much.
Yeah, none of them are.
Yeah. And
I'm sure there's one guy who has a dentistry practice and he just doesn't take customers for 3 months.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like everyone else is just a lobbyist every other day of the year, or a lawyer.
Yeah.
A name partner at a lawyer and never goes and faces any actual trials. Just collects checks.
Yeah. It is a pretty sweet job. But the problem, though, is that then you get on Sine Die, which is today, and there's some things that haven't been finished. Like, there's a bill to address crime in Baltimore. And because they can't really come to a solution, they're about to do this half-assed, doesn't really do anything bill that really punishes people worse and doesn't address the crime. There is a whole cash bail provision, which may or may not have passed today. I didn't see whether or not it was on the agenda for today. And although the shenanigans are less in recent years, there are shenanigans. Like, you call it at midnight it ends. And what they used to do is they used to stop the clock at 11:59. But the story I was reading now is that they actually stop the clock earlier in the night and they call it the end of a legislative day. So they call the day and stop the clock. And then they talk it out in between the legislative day and then start the day again and start the clock just to try and buy themselves more time, which just seems to, why don't we just allow them to go a little longer, allow them to go year round?
Or just put, like, I may be horribly wrong on this, but doesn't like the Supreme Court like decide they're going to see a certain number of cases in a session?
Yeah.
And then they just spend however much time it takes to decide those 5 cases.
Right. Yeah.
And then as soon as it's done, they recess the court until the next time that they, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, technically, there could be some sort of, like, pre-session where everyone just agrees, like, hey, we're going to absolutely vote on these 15 items.
I mean, they could really just say
There's going to be a straight up or down on these 15 things. We're going to work on other things as well, but we can't leave until these 15 things are hashed out.
well, that's a very O'Malley position of you, because that was what his argument was, that they should go in and say, these things we have to do. My argument would be that you go in and say it's 90 days of a session, and anything that is in progress by the 90th day, you stay until you're done with.
Yeah, I'm
So
fine
if
with that.
If it dies in committee, or you do an up and down vote at some point, in committee, on the floor, in committee, on the floor, third reading on the floor, final vote, wherever it is, but maybe it's August before it goes to the governor's desk. That's all right. Maybe you don't burn so much time, but you get it done.
Or how about it's fucking goddamn technology? Like, somebody can't send a fucking email? Like, this
I know that they do.
What?
I worked for the government. I know they send a lot of emails.
I'm saying, like, this is the part of what annoys me about the idea of government is that we have said, like, well, this is the way it is. We wanted a citizen legislature in Maryland, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But, like, just, the wheel has been invented since then, so why not use the wheel? Like, we have the internet now that came by way after we decided how we were going to figure out our stupid ass legislature. So why not just use it? Like, why not create like votes online or something like that?
How about this? How about let's not dick around for 2 months and then try to jam everything into the last 30 days?
That's any kind of legislative government.
Yes. Well, as I said, maybe legislative government not the way. Benevolent dictator, 2020, right here. Anyway, so we'll see what comes out, whether or not they pass the things that they were supposed to pass, and whether or not the bills actually get done. I doubt that half the stuff will be finished. And then what happens is because they closed down the legislature, later on in the year they'll reopen it for really special things, and that special session costs extra. More than it would to really just keep the government open a little while longer.
Yeah, just do it for an extra week right now. Like, it just seems like it would be easier.
You'd think. But instead, what they do is shut it down and reopen it. So, of course. So, to everyone who I know...
And I'm sure there's some senator who's saying, like, well, I made plans to leave on April 10th, and how am I supposed to know when I'm going to be able to actually go to Florida for a week? And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you. Like, how about that? Like,
also, they don't
life, I don't get to, like, I get to plan a vacation every once in a while, but if I know that there's going to be a lot of shit happening, I don't plan the vacation.
Yeah, you don't back it up to the vacation.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm going to do this during a quiet time where I know that I'm going to be able to get away.
Well, listen, you're robbing all of those premium legislators from the confetti on the floor and the champagne and the drinking all night tonight. Yeah. So why would you do that to them?
They can just do that in 5 days.
They work hard. They deserve it. They get a lot done.
Yeah. Especially Oaks.
Yeah. I feel bad for him. I wonder, does he get to celebrate? Is it like you get a ring if you're there long enough? He was there for most of the session, right? So he gets to celebrate Sine Die.
He gets to do it from outside the window.
Well, he's not banned from the floor. He just can't vote. So
it's like when they do the Arrested Development, where they're like looking through the window, is like the sad piano music and the falling on the ground.
Yeah. That's what he gets to do. And maybe somebody takes him some champagne. Hey, take him some champagne.
Or he could just buy it himself. He's an adult.
And he did take all those bribes, so he has money.
So he's got money.
He's got money. It's not going to be a problem. Speaking of taking all those bribes, more news in Facebook world. And I find it completely ironic. I will find it completely ironic if our feed mysteriously goes down all of a sudden. Because, of course, we are broadcasting live on Facebook. That's facebook.com/O The Anthem, where you can catch this in every week's video. But Facebook back to the news.
They've stopped listening by now.
Listen, Zuck, I got some advice for you.
Got some words.
Yeah. So Facebook CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, It will be appearing, you were correct, by the way, in the pre-show meeting, will be appearing tomorrow before Congress. Met today to do a little glad handing and a little media day, if you will. But tomorrow he'll be testifying.
Because nobody's more electrifying than Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, man. What to say about Mark Zuckerberg? Electrifying, not the word I would use to describe him.
No.
I feel like if you are Mark Zuckerberg, you just find like the most boring and bland human being possible and just have him stand next to you at all times. Because then maybe you look electrifying by comparison.
I was watching when he gave that interview on Anderson Cooper where he sort of
by the way, don't go on Anderson Cooper because that man, you don't want to be sitting across from that on a split screen with Anderson Cooper.
Well, technically he wasn't sitting with Anderson Cooper. He was sitting with some other reporter.
Okay, all right. Well, that was probably a better decision.
But I mean, it was a pretty girl, so it was hard to.
Oh, what are you thinking, Zuck?
Like, why are you putting the camera on Zuckerberg?
Just leave it on her. Let her talk.
I can just listen to her. I can watch her listen to his answer, and
entertaining.
It'll be more entertaining than watching him do it.
Yeah.
You remember that time and period where people thought he might run for president? Hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, he had the information to do it. He probably could have won. I'm just saying. Yeah, he could have manipulated us all.
He goes up on the dais at some Iowa rally, and he's just like, I know what you all want. Confetti.
Listen, vote for me, and I'll give you the dislike button.
Mark Zuckerberg wins an overwhelming...
For some reason, 200 million Americans showed up. Unanimous vote. Everyone wants the dislike button. So, yeah. But he is a wet sponge of a human being.
Yeah.
And he's going before Congress, which really just...
As if it couldn't get more exciting.
And he's going before, I think, the Judiciary Committee, I want to say. I think he's going to be in like a joint session of several committees across both houses.
Yeah.
And they're all going to ask him questions. And I imagine that the highlight reel will be riveting.
Yeah.
But that's not the big news out of Facebook. Yes, he's going to testify, and I suppose we'll have to see what he says. But the bigger news was that they announced today they are taking responsible actions. He said, I am in charge of Facebook. The buck stops here, and we are taking action. So from now on, when an academic institution wants access to the data, we're going to make sure an outside third party covers our data and makes sure that it's legitimate.
Okay, so let me put together a list of people that I think might be good for picking this sort of thing up.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I mean, Cambridge, Harvard, like...
Oh, the university. I thought you were going with Analytica.
No.
I wouldn't go with Analytica.
Actual Cambridge.
Yes.
Like maybe you get like a couple. You throw a stipend to a couple higher ups at
Cambridge
Cambridge
University.
or Harvard or
University.
Stanford
Yes.
or I could go off naming great schools all day.
And doesn't he have a building named after him at Stanford?
Probably.
I feel like there is the Zuckerberg building. I know there's the Zuckerberg Hospital in San Francisco. So
he went to Harvard for a while. I feel like he would know somebody there.
I feel like he wouldn't give a building as a fuck you. He's just not going to pay them because of
Yeah.
He's got fuck me money now.
Yeah.
But Stanford,
he's got beyond fuck me money.
I think his name is on.
He's
the
got
building
fuck us money.
That's true. Yes.
He's
yes,
got
very
fuck
much so.
everybody money.
But yes, all good choices. All good choices.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to tell you that he didn't pick one of those,
okay.
So instead, let's make a list of the people he should not choose to do that. Who would be on your list?
Let's see.
Soros, number one.
Soros, yeah.
Because God knows we don't want to get Alex Jones involved in this.
Right.
Yeah. Mercer.
For the same
bad
reason,
decision.
Mercer,
Yes.
or like the NRA.
Yes. Yeah.
Or, just because I don't trust them with anything. PETA?
True. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want them involved either.
I don't know. Cokes would be a pretty bad idea.
Oh, I got some bad news for you.
What?
It's the Charles Koch Foundation.
Oh, you bitches.
So, Facebook has chosen the Charles...
Did they give a vote to Soros too, just to even out the...
Nope, just all Koch brothers. So, as liberal as you may think Mark Zuckerberg is, and maybe he is...
he does like money.
He does, in fact, like money, and he is, in fact, white. So, really, where do you think his true allegiances lie? But so Facebook has chosen the Charles Koch Foundation, Charles Koch of the Koch brothers, of the ones who said, we're going to spend $1 billion in the election to make sure that we get candidates who support our belief system. One of those candidates, by the way, you want to take a guess?
No.
Donald Trump. You want to take a guess at some more candidates?
No.
Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, all supported by the Koch brothers. And the Koch brothers, who are now going to be controlling Facebook data and deciding what university deserves access to that data. So, Corey.
Yes.
Do you think if the Koch Foundation was running the data in 2016, Cambridge Analytica would have had a little more trouble getting access to it?
No.
Probably not. But do you think Breitbart would have had a little bit of trouble getting access to it?
No, but here's the problem. I mean, at the end of the day, the thing about Cambridge Analytica isn't that they ended up with the data. I mean, they ended up with the data. That's a problem.
Yes.
But the way in which they ended up with the data was that an actual school or an actual real like scholastic enterprise was at the beginning of all this. And then it got sold after the fact.
Yeah.
And Facebook was just like, hey, y'all got rid of that data, right? And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, Facebook.
We got it.
And they're like, all right, cool with us. So, I mean, like, I feel like having a tribunal to figure out whether or not they should be able to do it is like neither here nor there. I think that if Facebook really wants to show that they're interested in the well-being of the people who are using their platform, maybe they should be the ones who are allowed to vote.
What do you mean?
Just like set up a special tab, just like
vote for us.
people were giving your privacy to, all your private information to, and then you can go through and much like, you know, like you would, have you seen the new thing where it like asks you questions on Facebook?
Yes.
Where it's just like,
I don't trust it.
If you could eat anywhere, where'd you want to eat? And it's supposed to be like a little thing to like let people know a little bit about you.
Don't trust it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. But I'm saying like, at least we could put up a thing where it's just like, somebody at the University of Rhode Island wants to figure out whether or not people who like pizza also like soft drinks.
Yeah.
And you could go like, I don't know if that's worth my privacy. Nope.
Yeah.
And then you can just go through and vote, and then an aggregate vote will decide who gets it and who doesn't.
First of all,
I mean, it'll end up just being like every single like one of those things that show up on the ballot in Maryland.
yeah, everybody's just
Where
like,
it's just like, do you want to allow Baltimore County to borrow $15.9 million to build a park? And it's just like, I'm always like, why the fuck do we need $15.9 million? And why don't you have money for it already? Why are we borrowing against something else? No. And then I go and look at the news. It's just like the amendment to build a new park passed 99-1. And I'm just like, well, fuck me.
I'm the asshole now.
I'm the one who spent all the time going through how much parks cost. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is $12.4 million than the park that they just built.
So Facebook lost on the news of Cambridge Analytica. They've lost like $12 billion in value.
Mm-hmm.
With that $12 billion, they could have built a campus where if someone wanted to study the data that's available there, they could bring people to that campus.
Yeah.
Allow them to access the data there, do their study, and then those
monitor
people
what
leave.
they're doing.
Yes, and then those people leave, and they leave the data there.
Yeah.
Isn't that a better solution than just handing it out willy-nilly on jump drives?
That's fine with me, too.
Because you know what, Facebook users? I'm sorry. Look what I got here. You know what this is? Guess who's got your data now?
We know what you want.
Oh, we're going to give it to you. I'm just kidding. We'll be totally responsible with it.
Huh.
Totally responsible.
By the way, Megan, your boyfriend's cheating on you.
I really hope we don't have a listener with the name Megan.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So great. And then she starts commenting. She's like, what?
Yeah.
I was just trying to throw out a random regular name.
Just a regular girl name.
Yeah.
Not a crazy girl name. Dealt with a lot of that. Anyway, so Facebook dealing with the fallout. I guess we'll see how Zuck does in front of Congress. We'll update you guys on that next week. And maybe they'll take our idea. Maybe they'll take our idea and start a university. I feel like tomorrow will be the perfect understanding of how well Zuckerberg retains information from his attorneys. Because when I was watching the CNN interview, it looked like he was basically just channeling his attorneys through
himself.
Yeah.
Like his attorney just said word for word, like, okay, you're probably going to be asked these 15 questions. In addition, you might get asked one of these 40 questions. Here is the exact verbatim thing you should be saying. And then they just get Zuckerberg in front and he's just like, so what happened in this particular incident was many different nefarious players were involved in...
Well, I was going to say for once.
And it's just like they got to get them all together, and it's just like, all right, what the fuck is Angus King going to say about this?
For once, I was going to say for once, but really for twice, his autism spectrum disorder has really played out for him. Just being able to memorize and recite.
Yeah.
First one, Facebook. Second one, the time that you almost ruined the United States democracy.
Yeah.
Using Facebook.
Right.
So congratulations, Zuck. But yeah, I will have to see. I have a feeling that it's going to be a Hillary Clinton-esque debacle where it might go 8 or 9 hours, and there's just no prepping for that. There's no way you can, or he really will just go into repeating the same answer over and over again, which will be clear that he's just reciting answers.
The thing I would like if I was a congressman who was up on the thing there, the dais there, is start asking him a lot of questions that anybody could have told him about, like any staffer in his office, just like, so is the Facebook on this computer? And then just watch him go like, I'm sorry, is it on the computer? Yeah, I mean, like, I know a lot of people like to do computer things. Is the Facebook on the computer? And then just watch him like slowly unravel, like
just falling apart. Like, well, it's not on the computer,
but you need a computer. Well, you don't really need a. Wait, ow, my head.
Because you can do it on your phone too if you want, I guess. But it's not on the phone. I mean,
how many times do I press 9 on my flip phone until I get to Facebook? Ow, my head.
And then you have somebody else jump in, like
you just watch Zuckerberg's head explode live.
He just gets beaten down by the dumb guy from Texas, and then somebody jumps in and is like, so the Cambridge Analytica. He's like, yeah, I gave them the data. They said they wanted to manipulate the election.
Ha! Gotcha,
bitch. Gave him the old Texas one too. All right.
A little rope-a-dope. Got you feeling real stupid with dad questions, and then all of a sudden, Facebook.
We just played smart cop, dumb cop. The guy from Texas is like, wait, which one of us was dumb cop?
Ted Cruz.
I didn't know we were playing a game. Oh, damn it. Anyway, so if they're doing their job correctly, Zuckerberg's lawyers will have prepared him for his testimony. And they will be the first lawyers in the last 2 days who have reportedly done their job correctly, because another lawyer was in the news today, and hopefully he did not do his job correctly. That's my hope. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the president hopes he did his job correctly.
Yeah.
I do hope that he did not, though. So it's a funny thing because, I was sitting around earlier today and I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. There's got to be a lot. And then
I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, I don't know if there's really any like real big story in the news. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I'll turn on CNN and see if anything's happening.
And then I see a tweet that's this. And I'm like, something good's happening. Something good's happening. The president doesn't sit like this. Unless it's something really good.
It's basically Trump doing his Nixon impression.
Yes.
If you're not watching the video and you wanted to know what Rob just did.
First of all, you should go to facebook.com/O The Anthem or youtube.com/O The Anthem. Check out the video.
Yeah.
Why not?
But
if you didn't.
It was his Nixon phase.
Yeah, so just imagine me doing Trump doing Nixon.
Yeah.
That would be a weird threesome.
Yeah, that's almost scary to think of.
Talk about a devil's threesome.
The ego in that room would.
Oh my god! Imagine the mirrors. We're all just looking at ourselves, not looking at each other.
Trump's like, I'm doing the best here, and it's just like, whatever you say, Donald. Whatever you say. And then Nixon's like, I hate everybody's penis.
Wait, isn't Nixon dead?
Yes.
Just took it to a whole new level. All right.
You're the one who made it weird.
Things get weird.
Nixon could have come back.
I'm down.
Nixon
for weird things.
Come back for a Trump cheek threesome.
Which one of us is more evil? Cast your votes live right now. Anyway, so if you missed the announcement today, there was a press conference for something else. I don't know what it was for originally, but it got hijacked immediately with the, your Mr. Trump or Mr. President, your lawyer's office got raided today, and Mueller's team was looking for documents connected to Stormy Daniels.
Funny thing though.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get too much further into it. It wasn't Mueller's team that did that.
Oh, really?
No. It's the Southern District of Manhattan.
But wait. Who did they do? They did it at Mueller's direction.
Well, Mueller basically said this one's good to go if you
Yes.
want to run free on this one.
You won't be stepping on my toes. I have everything I need.
Yeah.
You go ahead and go.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that in order to raid a lawyer's office, they have to get the approval of the district court of that district.
Yeah.
Which they did. And that guy was appointed by Obama, right?
Nope.
Appointed by Trump. The seat that was actually formerly held by...
I don't know. Who?
Preet Bharara.
Oh.
The infamous guy who was like, hey, I'm trying to be center of the road. And Trump was like, you're fired. So the question is, the ironic question is, the guy who was all about responsible use of the office, would he have raided Michael Cohen's office if he were still there? Or would he have been like, you know what? I was appointed by Obama. I don't want to be shown. I don't want to be look like I'm doing favoritism. So I'm not going to approve this search warrant. And then did Donald Trump screw himself by firing that guy and putting someone else in?
I think Preet would probably have still done it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, like, I feel like if the evidence is overwhelmingly enough to... Let me put it this way. Raiding lawyers' offices is not something that happens on the reg.
No, it does not.
That's pretty unusual.
There's a lot of approval that's necessary.
A lot of steps that take
Yes.
before you're allowed to raid a lawyer's office.
Any lawyer's office.
Yeah.
And then you add on that lawyer to the president-elect at the time.
Right.
Who is now embroiled in part of what may be a cover-up with the current president.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hoops and a lot of people who have to approve that first.
Yeah.
And it got approved.
I can't even with this. It's like new lows every single week. I can't even believe we're here.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. What a time to be alive. We may actually see the impeachment of an American president, which
I still don't think it'll happen.
There's got to be a breaking point.
See,
there's got to be.
Here's the problem. I feel like number one, the Democrats can't pick up enough seats in the Senate to turn it into a 66% majority.
Right.
I just don't
say that, but
I mean, I don't think there's enough seats open.
33 seats are open.
Yeah, but some of those 33 seats are Democrats.
True. I wonder how many.
And I mean, it's 48, 52 right now. 51.
No, 48, 50. 48, 50.
48,
Because there's
50?
2 empty seats right now.
I think that
They're waiting to be filled.
I mean, like like let's just for the
and
sake
Tammy
of argument,
Duckworth is not there voting, so it's actually like 47-50.
But I'm saying, like, say it's 16 Republicans, 16 incumbent Republicans right now, or seats that were Republican.
Right.
So the best case scenario is you're going to get up to 64.
True.
So you would still be short. You would still need to pick off Republicans.
But, yeah.
And the Republicans who would stay would probably be the ones who are most likely to die on the Trump hill.
But then you just have to pick up a couple ones that are up for re-election in 2 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they're the ones who are like, okay, so I just saw this massacre happen in the Republican Party, and I'm not dying on that hill because I got an election in 2 years.
I guess if the Democrats got to 64 votes in the Senate, then a lot of people would start changing their tune.
Yeah, especially if they swiped all the Republican available seats.
Yeah.
And your
Ted Cruz drops and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, Ted Cruz goes down, and you're just like, Mitch McConnell goes down because he's up.
Yeah.
So now imagine you're Murkowski.
Yeah.
And you're up in 2020, and you're like, "Ooh, listen, I was on the fence already. I'm not really sure about this whole thing, but y'all got a caucus I could join over there, or like Bernie got an independent caucus? I'm down. I'm looking for a caucus right now. So, but yeah, I think you don't even have to win 16 if they swing it like 59, 40.
Yeah.
40, 59, 40, 59, 41. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
no.
That's
yeah.
math, isn't it?
Yeah, 59, 41.
If they swing at 59, 41, in one election.
Yeah.
People are really going to start changing their tune. The other third that'll be up in 2020 and has to run with this guy as president if he's still there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I think that if we see 59-41, then we probably see Pence get roped into this too.
Oh, you mean the election or the investigation?
The investigation.
Oh yeah.
I think that. So here's my quick prediction for what happens. I would like to imagine that there is going to be a huge Democratic wave election because that's just technically how it goes. Usually an office a party takes control, and then the first election after that, they lose a bunch of that control.
Well, the House, but not the Senate necessarily.
Right, but I'm saying like usually there's a big swing the other way. This year it's looking like that swing is going to be way more dramatic than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And a lot of Democrats are going to win seats where they normally wouldn't, and they're probably going to have a big majority in both the House and the Senate when it's all said and done.
And even if they don't have that big a majority, the names that are there are most certainly going to change.
Right.
Like the Republicans, even if they don't lose the seats,
well, I mean,
won't be the same Republican.
There's already, like 70 people who've said they're just getting out.
Yeah.
So there's open seats between the House and the Senate.
Good time to get out.
But I imagine that after if there is a landslide election, immediately after that, we're going to start hearing a lot about what was Pence knowing about Russia investigations and what was Pence knowing about this, that, and the other. And then we group the two of them together and kick them out. And then we do let's move Pelosi up to president for the time being because she'll be Speaker of the House at the time. And then everyone hates their life. And then we have a proper election in 2020.
Just when I thought it couldn't get worse.
Yeah. Welcome to your new hell, America.
Pelosi is president.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll get voted out. Come on, California. We can do better than this.
Trump and Pence out. It's just like, oh my God, what a wonderful day. Pelosi in. God damn it. I thought we were supposed to be just about this.
We don't want an Alessandro being president. Come on. We know about them.
Yeah.
They ruined our city.
They did.
Yes. Anyway, so impeachment is on the horizon. I can feel it. And that Trump mood, I think, is him feeling it too. And I don't know what's going to come first, the impeachment or the firing or the resignation.
The firing is absolutely going to happen first.
And I think we've talked about this in episodes before that if you're Mueller, and you have those documents ready.
Yeah.
And when you think the day is there, when Trump's like, got a big announcement to make at noon, looking at you, Mueller, big announcement, like 11:30, you're like, all right, yep, gonna file these. Got a big announcement to go listen to. So here's my filing, and good night.
Here's the funny thing. I feel like there would be a filing, and then Mueller might not even have a press conference. He'll just go to fucking Applebee's or something like that, and the word will get out like Mueller's at Applebee's, and like all these reporters run over there, and they just like sit at the bar with Mueller, and he's just having himself some baby back ribs and a beer, and he's just enjoying life. And then like people just walk up, and it's just like, so what's going on? It's like, wow, I'm free to talk about anything I want right now. I mean, like, do you guys want to?
No.
You guys want to get a couple drinks and just hash this thing out?
Hang out for 1 second. Wait. Now I'm free to talk about everything. Yep.
So
okay.
apparently I've been fired. So
CNN flash. Mueller finds out at Applebee's, wipes his mouth and says, "Free to talk now." Excellent.
It's game time, ladies and gents.
Was eating baby back ribs that time.
might as well call this Dave and Buster's because it's beer, game, and sports.
Oh. I didn't really get that, but that's okay. Anyway, so we are about out of time, but I want to hit one other issue this week, which all fun and games aside about Trump being impeached, which God, let's hope that happens. He may actually take us to war in Syria before we actually get him out of office, because nothing makes me more discouraged about life than a smiling John Bolton sitting beside a smiling Donald Trump talking about actions that might be taken in Syria. Just nothing good. Nothing good about that.
No.
When John Bolton smiles, I can actually hear brown children dying. And I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't be able to do that, but I do.
Did you hear Trump's drone comment, by the way?
No. Oh, God.
One of my least favorite things about the time we live in is drones.
Yes.
Mostly because there has been a complete and utter lack of people who seem to factor innocent lives into it, particularly women and children.
Yes.
But apparently a group of higher ups in the army, or in the military, I should say, came to Trump and showed him video from a drone of a target around a bunch of innocent children and women and people. And they said, all we have to do is wait for him to get away from the rest of them, and we can take him out. And Trump apparently said, why not just take him out now? And they said, well, there's all these innocent people there. And he's like, I don't care. So that is like an actual verbalization of what many people have sort of assumed presidents, like, you know, like deep down inside, Obama has to say, like, you know, like, I care about every single life and no innocent people and blah, 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 blah. But the fact that so many of them die
makes you think
that nobody really cares about it. So
wait, oh, that's him? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
It's the actual verbalization of that thought that is terrifying.
Yeah. And that's the guy who's about to lead us into war in Syria. Why? Because chemical weapons may or may not have been used. The Russians say they weren't used. Syrians say they weren't used. The Russians say the Israelis were the ones who used them. So that's an interesting side note. But nonetheless, a John Bolton grinning from ear to ear like the Grinch on Christmas morning after all the kids are disheartened and sad, talking about how we just need to discuss it. We're going to discuss it. We're just going to discuss it, and then we'll see what's going to happen.
I feel like there should be a law planned where if you're thinking about getting into war with another country, you have to be able to answer at least one question about that country prior to.
How about
like
where is it on a map? How about that? Can we answer that question?
Or it's just like name 5 cities in Syria. It's just like, oh fuck, fine. I guess I won't be invading them.
How about this, Corey?
You got me.
Can you name 5 cities in Syria?
No, I can't.
Damascus is the capital. Raqqa.
I know Damascus. I don't know Raqqa.
Raqqa, which was the ISIS stronghold. Tyre. It's a historical city.
Yeah, you already got me beat.
There's a G one that's up in the hills. It's the Heights. Gideon. Anyway. But
See,
I named 3.
You can't bomb Syria either.
No, I mean, but I would educate myself about the place I wanted to bomb first. And I don't want to bomb Syria. I don't want anybody to bomb Syria.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying you wouldn't be allowed to.
Listen, the Israelis can name 5 cities in Syria. I don't want them to bomb Syria either, if it was them. Which, by the way, I'm not even getting into the whole Israel killing 750 Palestinian civilians with machine gun fire this week.
How dare you? Israel is always right, no matter what they do.
Listen, we barely made it through. Barely made it through the Zuck comment on Facebook. Do not even start that. We're going to get shut down for good. Anyway, so yeah, look into that. Israel, 740 Palestinian civilians shot this week. So that's happened in the news. And they may or may not have used chemical weapons on Syrians and tried to make it look like it was the Russians just because they were trying to start a war. So... Yay.
Everyone have fun.
And luckily,
Sleep tight tonight.
Luckily, John Bolton's in the White House like, goody. And Trump's looking at him like, so you got good advice for me, John? Or like, what? He's like, goody. It's nothing is good about this. Except for maybe they'll be out of the White House soon. So one bit of good news.
Just waiting for Mueller at Applebee's.
Come on, Mueller. Come on.
Well, you know where you can get all the latest news on where Mueller is going to be when he drops the bomb?
Where's that?
OTheAnthem.com. Corey to OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And hey, you can find more of me at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com. New reviews are coming up this week. I just recorded the Isle of Dogs review and the Cock Blockers, technically Blockers review.
Chicken Blockers.
So you can find those this week at YouTube. And more of me at facebook.com/Corey Baker Film and at LegendCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And one quick thing before I move on from the reviews thing.
Sure.
I made a decision early on that if I see a movie at one theater 10 times.
If you see 10 movies at one theater.
That's what I meant.
Yep.
If I see 10 movies at one theater, then I'm going to make a special featurette about that theater.
Yep.
So I have reached 10 with Isle of Dogs.
Yes.
So there is going to be a featurette about what Regal LA Live is like.
Ooh.
So you're going to want to check that out. It's going to be on Facebook as well, but you're going to want to see it on the official review for the Isle of Dogs, and that's coming up very shortly.
And you're going to want to check out that theater because maybe you stumble into somebody you know.
Yeah.
If you're down there at LA Live.
We're there often enough.
Very often. And, of course, you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek right there. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you, sir. And, of course, you can find more from me at patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. That's patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. This is National Poetry Month. I don't know if you knew that, Corey. And I'm celebrating National Poetry Month by writing a poem a day and posting it only for my Patreon subscribers at patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. So right now they've been suffering through the worst haikus ever written by anyone as I try to catch up to the current day. And then after that, I'll try to put a little more effort into the poems. But poetry.
Can you write a limerick about me?
No, I'm not good at limericks. Haiku, it's like actually relatively easy. I kind of get a concept and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, got it. Limericks are like, they have to be dirty and they have to rhyme, and I'm not good at rhyming. So
Well, I'm saying basically what I want to know is how many poems are you going to write about me?
well, I got this one. Hang on, I'll read you the one that I wrote about you.
Okay.
Okay. This one is inspired by you.
This is a sneak peek. So you don't even have to pay for Patreon to hear this one.
Nope, but you should go to Patreon to get the rest of them.
Congratulations, everybody. You got this one for free.
For free. This one, inspired by Corey. Staring at a page, the stark white mocks my effort. The words just won't come. Because, by the way, remember, guys, Corey's birthday's coming up, and he is supposed to have a finished screenplay.
Yeah.
How you doing on that screenplay, Corey?
I am on page 76 right now.
Of at least 90.
Yeah.
We accept that 90 is the acceptable length of a minimum screenplay, right? Okay.
It'll be somewhere between 90 and 110.
Good to know. Good to know.
Just got to figure out what happens.
Yep.
Well, I think we done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, so no bullshit. Do you want to go to Applebee's?
Oh, you know what? I should say, though, we've had, I want to say, a special shout out to a very special lady. Schmoopy has been with us all week.
No, Schmoopy!
Schmoopy!
Come here, Schmoopy! All right.
She's not coming out.
She's shy.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
She's laying with Rachel.
Yes, but thank you for joining us this week, Schmoopy. It's been amazing. Have a great week,
She's
everybody.
just a house elf.